The Sixers season was like a really nice car that could win the friggin' race, but instead it crashes, catches on fire, and gets eaten by a shark. The entire thing was a disaster. This team could not win on the road, which no one could explain. They went into the playoffs with a superstar injured and were swept by their rival. God, that's bad. But the good thing for Sixers fans is their nightmare is over. In this video, yes, the Sixers are broken, but they are in the shop and we're gonna fix it. We'll talk about who the new coach should be, what they should do in the draft, in free agency, and with trades, plus one big statement by their GM, Elton Brand. Hey, it's Casey. Welcome to AM Hoops. Hit subscribe and notification bells. We're coming out with 5 videos per week, Monday through Friday, always dropping at 5 Eastern. And we're starting to go over the off seasons of teams that have been eliminated. And today it is the 76ers. We're gonna get back to regular playoff basketball when the games start again. But today's video is brought to you by our Patreon subscribers, and specifically that Drip Station. And I wanna give him a big shout out, not just because he's a Patreon, but also because he's got an NBA related YouTube channel. He's just starting out. He also gives news and opinions. So guys, go check it out. The link is down below in the description. We always start these off-season videos with the basics. And for the Sixers, it's not pretty. Cap space, 0. In fact, they are way over the luxury tax. Draft, that's okay. The 21st overall pick and 4 second-round picks. Needs, coach, shooting, high-level point guard, and their relevant free agents, really no one, but why not mention Alec Burks and Raul Neto? So we have to start with the biggest question here for Philly, outside of their coach. What's up with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons?
I'm not looking to trade Ben or Joel. I'm looking to complement them better. They're 24, 26 years old, respectively. You try to make that fit as long as you can. They want to be here. They want to be with our organization, and I see them here for a long, long time.
Okay, so we have a direction for the Sixers offseason, unless Elton Brand is lying. It's all about Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. I'm talking about for personnel decisions and for who the head coach is going to be. And I think that's a really smart decision. They should not trade either of these guys. Rarely on the same team do you get 2 all-stars in their prime. Now, I don't think it's a good thing that Elton Brand will be making these decisions. Adrian Wojnarowski reported Brand will not be fired, just other people in the front office around him. That is a mistake. Brand put the Sixers in a horrible place. They owe $119 million of their $148 million bucks to 4 players: Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Al Horford. You know what that means? He may say they should build around Ben and Joel, but they can't. They don't have any money. The Sixers' payroll is so high, it is second only to the Golden State Warriors. You know, the Dubs, who earn money with 3 banners, versus these guys who just had a bad GM. Tobias Harris actually makes the most money on the Sixers, believe it or not. No one is going to trade for his contract realistically unless they throw in a ton of picks. Same goes for 34-year-old Al Horford. And if you're a Sixers fan, you're like, I get it, we're not in a good situation. This video is supposed to be about a successful offseason. So okay, let's be positive. The first step to improving any bad situation like this one is acceptance. So let's accept this horrible situation the Sixers are in and figure out how to improve. And the very first tool is coaching. The 3 reported candidates are Ty Lue, Jay Wright, and Ime Udoka. These are 3 completely different types of head coaching candidates. First, you have Ty Lue. So many teams want Ty Lue right now, and he knows it. This dude is asking for $7 million a year. The average coach salary is $3 million. Ty Lue wants to be the 3rd highest paid coach behind Greg Popovich and Doc Rivers. Will the Sixers pay that? Well, if they want him, they will have to, because the Nets are expected to want him. The Pelicans have a good young roster. They like Lue. The draw is his championship with LeBron James and the Cavs in 2016. But honestly, I don't see Lue as really a game changer here. I think he'll end up coaching the Nets anyway. Next up is Ime Udoka. He is a current assistant for the Sixers, so at least he knows the roster and they know him. He learned coaching under Greg Popovich, which actually doesn't really guarantee anything, even though you hear that all the time. My main problem with Udoka is not having faith he can actually fix their issues. I mean, the Sixers need someone who can fit Joel and Ben in the offense. They need someone who can scheme shooters open around Ben and Joel. Udoka was the team's defensive coordinator. Their defense is not the problem here. I don't even care that he's never been a head coach before. I mean, we've seen Nick Nurse, Ty Lue, Steve Kerr, and others win a title their first year. And for that reason, the coach I would hire is Jay Wright, the college coach. He's won 2 national championships with Villanova right there in Philly. And don't give me the college coaches don't work in the NBA crap. Brad Stevens is a college coach, Billy Donovan. Jay Wright coaches in high-pressure environments every March in the tournament. He knows how to win titles. He creates NBA talent like Eric Pascal this year, Kyle Lowry. He knows how to develop shooters, which is what the Sixers need. Wright is happy at Nova, but he has said, quote, "The NBA intrigues me. To me, there's no better fit than the hometown Sixers." Next up in this offseason is the draft. Now, the Sixers, as we mentioned, have 5 draft picks, but just 1 first-rounder. They need to add shooting and a high-level point guard. Right now, they have Shake Milton, a second-rounder who is running point in the playoffs. I think Philly should trade multiple second-round picks and their first-rounder to move up in the draft and take Killian Hayes. Now, if Hayes is a top 10 pick, they're not going to get him, but ESPN's latest mock has him falling all the way to the bottom of the lottery. The Sixers would move up just 7 spots for a first and 3 seconds. The Celtics also are like perfect trade partners here. They're not desperate for Hayes with Kemba Walker on their team right now, but Hayes would be great in Philly. Maybe the Celtics would prefer multiple picks in this draft to get it right. On the Sixers, Killian Hayes is a good shooter. He's got size. He can split time with Shake Milton his rookie year and continue to grow with Ben and Joel, who are in their mid-20s. And now we get to trades and free agency, and we already mentioned, like, this is why they're in such a bad spot, right? They don't have any money at all, and no one really wants their trade pieces outside of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. So here are 2 moves that could realistically improve this team, and let's start with free agency. The Sixers' #1 target should be Goran Dragic. He is the perfect veteran fit for this team. If they draft a point guard, Dragic can mentor him coming off the bench. He's a good 3-point shooter at 37%. He's a decent facilitator too at over 5 assists per game. And none of that even mentions his veteran presence, which helps in the playoffs. The only issue is his contract. The Sixers can offer $5.7 million at most with their taxpayer mid-level exception, and several teams like the Lakers could want him, so the Sixers might have to get a little lucky here. And finally, the trade. The Sixers trade Tobias Harris and 3 first-round picks for Victor Oladipo and Jeremy Lamb. The Sixers can move Tobias Harris, as we mentioned, it just takes adding picks to the deal. The Pacers do this if they don't plan on offering Oladipo the max. They might be concerned about his health and his recent production in the playoffs. Instead of letting him walk for nothing, they get Tobias Harris and 3 first-round picks. That is not bad. On the Sixers, Oladipo fits exactly what they need. A good shooter, an elite defensive player, a good facilitator. Now, they might be the all-injury big 3, but you have to get risky in a situation like the Sixers are in. So as you can see, there is hope here in this offseason for the Sixers. They just have to get creative and maybe a little lucky. But one thing we do know for sure is their championship window is open now, and a lot of change is coming in Philly. Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a daily NBA video.